This is Cybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Carville for a 2v2v2. And let's get it started with this Orange Empire player spawning on the island. This is PeaceBestow. Their teammate as the Red Soviets, as you could probably see from the barracks up in the corner, this is RevenantFire. Scrolling down the east side of the map, the Cyan Empire making up team number 2, running his MCV somewhere. This is KingKonG. And their teammate as the Blue Allies spawning on the middle, this is Mystique. And it looks like things are already getting started, so let's round this out quickly. As the Purple Soviets, this is chertilo. And as the Green Allies in the bottom left-hand corner, this is Bluestarlight. All right, this is a nice friendly mix of teams and factions. All of the colors work so nicely together except for this green-purple combination in the south. But it's a Soviet Empire team versus an Empire Allies team versus a Soviet Allies team. So a delightful mix pretty much across all boards. Airfield comes up very quickly from Mystique inside of KingKonG's base. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Crusher Crane inside of PeaceBestow's base and a Crusher Crane inside of Bluestarlight's base. So this is already starting out very potentially aggressive. I guess we'll see how long the aggression really lasts. Sometimes these 2v2v2s find a bit of a slow patch after, I don't know, the 15 or 20 minute mark. PeaceBestow as the northern player on the island. This is the player who normally gets to keep the island, and they are indeed going for the expansions relatively early. They've grabbed at least one of the oil derricks, and they're going to be going for a quick third refinery pretty much right out of the gate. Vindicator bombing runs pretty consistently knocking this down, and chertilo has been blocked at his refinery. This is definitely problematic. He needs to possibly get his MCV entirely out of this area. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold off the attacks, but he is not going to have a whole lot of cash to play around with unless his ally grants him some build radius to be able to expand somewhere away from Mystique and KingKonG, who are bringing the pressure right out of the gate. MCV is also on the move for RevenantFire. They're going to be expanding out to the west. A couple of engineers heading for the corner of the map. A couple of peacekeepers are potentially here from Bluestarlight as well. And it looks like these Vindicator bombing runs from Mystique just will not stop. One of the bridges gets taken down, and a Tengu from KingKonG lands on the island to shut down a couple of Imperial warriors. No big deal there. All of the oil derricks are about to be captured, and, well, these two engineers are feeling a little bit silly considering that they have a bear to run away from. The Peacekeeper doesn't get the kill. I feel like ordinarily 2 engineers would be a death blow in a 1v1, but here in a 2v2v2, it is not necessarily the end of the world. RevenantFire gets the kill. Nicely done. Even, nope, doesn't get the Peacekeeper. Very close, but doesn't get the Peacekeeper, and will be able to escape at least for now. Vindicators continuing to make their bombing runs, and unfortunately for chertilo, he is unable to really get any meaningful economy running. No oil derricks, no refinery under normal circumstances. He's only got one refinery, which is long-distance mining through some... I guess he's long-distance mining from 2 refineries or 2 ore nodes, but he is long-distance mining, and he's got that much going for him. A couple of Tengus going to be flying their way around the map, and Mystique and KingKonG, they're the only ones who really haven't expanded out very far. They have not yet been able to take over this set of ore nodes. They have not taken over that base. Everyone else has expanded out to the corner. And for now, KingKonG and Mystique are just hanging out in the corner that they sort of already occupied. 2 Tesla coils coming up, one of them going to be making that northern ore refinery basically impossible to attack with just Tengus alone. You're going to have to bring along some Striker VXs to really make that attack happen. Looks like a Tengu did go down in the north. Vindicator's going to be coming in. Never mind if you bomb out the Tesla Coil with your Vindicators, then you can have a pretty easy time taking over those refineries with your Tengus. Ooh, this could be a juicy spot for a super weapon later in the game. Going to be grabbing a refinery core. A lovely kill there for KingKonG. Gets himself a double vet Tengu with just a couple of moments of trouble. Tier 3 going to be coming up for KingKonG. I feel like we are starting to divide up into 2 strong teams and 1 weak team. Nothing personal against chertilo and Bluestarlight, but with basically 1 player worth of income, they are definitely at a bit of a disadvantage. We'll see if that ends up working out to their favor later on. Massive Vindicator sweeps coming through. 1 Vindicator goes down. A second will be eliminated. The third and the fourth looks like they will be able to escape. PeaceBestow won't get the easy kill on all 4 Vindicators, but will potentially go for the additional attacks there. MCV from chertilo trying to do some kind of a setup in the top left-hand corner, following his allies' pace, and that's actually going to be 2 dead Vindicators, 1 on the deck and 1 in the sky. The juggling is wonderful there from Mystique, but in the end, it of course doesn't quite matter. Airfield is going to be forced to be sold off. Satellite drop definitely helping out. And once again, this is just pushing a little bit further forward the narrative of 2 strong teams, 1 weak team. I'm really surprised that either a combination of... Okay, well, this might change things. But a combination of what are the defenses? Multi-gunner turrets. There we go. Multi-gunner turrets or just regular old Empire units. I'm really surprised that they have not taken over this base. It's kind of surprising that KingKonG and Mystique haven't taken control of that base. Looks like maybe 1 Akula sub will go down, but even if 1 falls, the second one will get the kill. And the combination of Defender VX and the Harvester killing off an Akula sub is a pretty funny idea in general. Oh, looks like that torpedo expired there on the shores. A couple of IFVs are here, and there we go. The first Psionic Decimator, the first... He's going to be adding walls, too. What a Red Alert 2 way to play the game. The first super weapon has been added into the mix, and this will, of course, call attention to the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Will it be enough, though? A MiG does get struck down there. And KingKonG, that is one reason why he has not had much of a ground army of any description for most of this game. He got out, I don't know, 8, maybe 10 Tengus, and then not much more of a ground army after that. And part of the reason for that is Psionic Decimator and the Nanoswarm Hive. And apparently he also got Tier 3 on his Imperial Dock. So that's a lot of cash invested in the future. That is sort of stuff that you can't use right now. A couple of Tengus going to be going down. Those IFVs on the ground actually doing a surprising amount of damage. And up on the top side, it looks like a couple of Twin Blades are now out. We got it, boys. We got it. Everybody give a cheer for the mass Twin Blade player. Every 2v2v2 needs at least 1 player who does nothing but build huge amounts of Twin Blades. Maybe that's not what RevenantFire will do. He does also have a naval yard, for example. We could see some dreadnoughts. That's a delightful amount of walls being added on as well. Okay, he has gone for a couple of Akulas. We won't lambast him too much for just building Twin Blades. But for the current moment, Twin Blades might be very strongly in his future. Vindicators returning from a bombing run against somewhere, and the Twin Blades find their first mark, killing off that Shogun battleship. I just sort of realized that chertilo and Bluestarlight, they had a slow start, but they have been basically unattacked, unharassed, unbroken by any damage for several minutes now, which means they might actually be the sleeper team in this game. We might have a team who's sort of unassuming and doesn't have much going for them, and then they get left alone for a couple of minutes and they come out as a strong powerhouse team, and they're able to win out the game. So that's going to be a potential to look for, is in the top left-hand corner of the map. We might see a bit of pressure, a bit of movement as these guys power up and go to the late game. It's just going to take them a good while longer to get there than it's taken anyone else. PeaceBestow moves in with a couple of Yurii mini-subs, and if he could get the Tier 3 Imperial Docks, that would actually be a great move. It looks like he's going to trade it out, though. Not going to get the Imperial Docks. That Tier 3... Well, any production facility that goes Tier 3 like that is a great kill to find against an Empire player. Random couple of strikers, one of them going to be going down, or nearly. Nanoswarm Hive almost online, and KingKonG, we all do it, but KingKonG here with his 2 wall segments, hasn't quite finished them up. I know I myself have forgotten to finish walling something off. And I feel like some players maybe do like the 3 walls and you leave 1 wall segment open in case you need to get an engineer in there. But then you have like defenses near there as well just to guard against a sneaky Tanya or something. But that is just like a completely useless 2 wall segments. Nothing really doing there. A couple of Apollos going to trade out against a couple of MiGs. We saw some Peacekeeper or some Noah's Vindicators and IFV action in the top side of the map. This feels like a bit of a mistake. You're calling attention to yourself and not getting all that much for it. We'll see if Bluestarlight, who of course is playing green, always love that, if Bluestarlight and chertilo can find some kind of comeback potential, or if they just anger the bear a little bit too early before they are really ready for it and they get smashed down. Nanoswarm Hive is ready to go, but 2 minutes roughly until the Psionic Is there something inside of it? Why are you bringing all these Twin Blades here? Is he going to go for the kill on the Nanoswarm Hive? He could potentially. He might also go for an engineer or something. Maybe he's got a Natasha mixed inside of those Twin Blades. No! He's just got enough Twin Blades to basically 2-shot this Psionic Decimator. And then once he unloads that second round of rockets, goodbye. Nice, easy kill there. And look at that. KingKonG and Mystique doing literally nothing about that. He does save his Nanoswarm Hive. But, yeah, that was just a bit unfortunate that he did literally nothing to stop that killing of his Psionic Decimator. So he got so close to having that online. He spent all that cash, and then he didn't get the sell-off. He didn't get to use it. Nothing will be an advantage for him there. Wow, a Wave Force Tower. Not something we see very often as a couple of Tengus go down through the middle of the map. A couple of IFVs are here, but is this literally just IFVs? This seems so weird to see 5 or 6 IFVs attacking this late in the game when other players are all the way up the tech tree and they have all of this stuff figured out. But he is going to get the kill on 2 of those Harvesters, so that is cutting down the income of RevenantFire by a good amount. Bullfrog does get jumped on, a couple of Terror Drones spawning in as those units die, and it looks like that will be the end of that attack in the north. KingKonG, he and PeaceBestow definitely going for just these single Yurii mini-sub attacks, trying to spread them out around the map and go for little hit-and-run situations to shut down their opponents potentially. It hasn't really been working out. It seems like most of the random Yurii mini-subs that have been spread around have been dealt with relatively easily, so no big wins there for the random Yurii mini-sub. Occasionally, you know, you do see something like that where some player sends just a random unit and it gets a kill because no one is paying attention. All right, power plant goes down. Sometimes you got to take the small victories. Still, no one has really taken this expansion area. The Harvesters did get rebuilt down to 20k in that one ore node. The other ore node sitting at 26k. Another Defender Core getting added on. No additional Psionic Decimator, at least not just yet. KingKonG, he's got 50 seconds until his next Nanotech Swarm, but, or Hive Swarm, what is it? Nanoswarm Hive, there we go. But his first one was used entirely defensively, so I'm not sure how much value it's really gotten him thus far in the game. Cryo getting on top of these Tengus, and they are slow Tengus as well. The Apollo cleans up the ones in the sky, and it's going to be up to these IFVs to get the kills, almost driving another Tengu into the fight, and transforming into the sky normally does not work to escape IFVs. They are better against air targets than they are against ground targets. It looks like the Shogun battleships are back at it. KingKonG has been beaten back once. These Shogun battleships did not win him the game without a fight, but he is back. He has rebuilt his Shogun battleship fleet, and he is ready to go, harassing the middle of the map once again. This V4 slowly working its way through these base defenses as the IFVs stand on and watch. Feeling somewhat useless until the Tesla coil goes down. Mig or a Tengu? Yeah, Tengu going down there, getting taken out by the base defense. And RevenantFire, he's tired of taking a bit of damage. He's going to show up with his mass Twin Blade army. Honestly, there's like only a couple of Hydrofoils here. If the Assault Destroyers weren't in that black armor mode, he could have dived on them. But that black armor makes it that much more difficult. And yeah, actually, this is a pretty tough base to crack. The combination of IFVs, Bullfrogs, and Flak Cannons make this an extremely difficult situation to break with purely Twin Blades. Skywings flying their way around the northern side of the map. Still, this refinery stands. It will eventually be broken down, it seems, by IFVs. It is kind of crazy that it has lasted this long, that there's, you know, 50k basically in these two expansions, so close to Mystique and KingKonG, and they did nothing to take them over until just now. I guess we're only approaching 16 minutes in the game, but still, it feels like they should have taken this 10 minutes ago. They should have had that extra 2 refineries worth of income for the last 10 minutes. Bottom of the map, definitely feeling a bit open and exposed. The fighting has certainly centered in around the island and on the northern corner of the map, so it's not been much fighting along the southern edge. Still no Psionic Decimator rebuild, but also no one else has built a single... I say that. He literally is finishing it up just now. He's not going to make use of his excellent wall placement from earlier, so I guess he's going to have to rebuild those walls entirely. But also, yeah, no one else has gone for a super weapon. Literally no one at all. I'm kind of surprised. Normally, super weapons are a bit more quick to be acquired. They don't always fire off, but they're usually more quick to be acquired by players in these 2v2v2s. Bridge gets taken down in the north, and now the island is once again completely cut off. A couple of Tengus going to get sniped by those Hydrofoils down on the ground, and this is truly the sleeper team. Chertilo has not done a ton, but he got a couple of V4s, he got some Bullfrogs, he got some defenses, and now he's potentially going to be taking these northern expansions, which, hey, you know, they still got 30 grand left between the two of them, so that is more than worth it, especially as time goes on. Satellite's going to be getting called in. RevenantFire may not get a whole lot of value for these satellites, as it looks like KingKonG was indeed looking, but he's going to have a couple of Akula subs sharking in this area to bring them down as well. Ooh, nice use of that psionic of the Nano Swarm Hive, and the Apollos are going to beset the mass Twin Blades. I bet you feel like a fool now. You thought you could defend your Twin Blades with Bullfrogs, but not if they aren't around soon enough. Oh, once again, satellites, it looks like, getting dropped down on that Nanotech Swarm Hive. Psionic Decimator. There we go. I swear I know these things, but sometimes you just forget with all of the nonsense names that get created for this sort of thing. Ramming speed not totally ending these Akula subs. One more Akula sub will go down, though, at least, to the ramming speed. And these Apollos just guard-dogging these Twin Blades, looking for an opening, looking for an opportunity. And, I mean, the Tengus could try and go for the transform. Under a normal fight, the Tengus wouldn't win that fight. But with the help of those Twin Blades distracting or the Bullfrogs on the ground, the Twin Blades would not be, the Tengus would be a match for the Apollos. This game has turned so weird from where I kind of thought that it was going. We do have a strong team, but now it actually feels like maybe the strongest team in about a minute or two is going to be Chertilo and Bluestarlight. These other two guys are fighting each other pretty completely. MCV is getting jumped on, not totally destroyed just yet. Those IFEs and Tengus and Apollos going to be doing massive damage to those Twin Blades. Almost every single Twin Blade dies, and the few remaining will die on exit. Goodbye, as the last Twin Blade gets eliminated. What are you doing? PeaceBestow says, I have a donation to offer. I have a free unit for you to kill. That Wave Force Tower, he's been around for basically since the beginning of the game. He's been doing nothing, and he just got to blast the heck right out of that Nano Swarm, that refinery core. I don't know what anything is anymore. RevenantFire has been defeated. He has been blasted out of this game. And this Athena Cannon, powerful though she may be, does get eliminated. Vindicator going to be helping out for that. Ooh, these Vindicators, they needed to change targets. Not quite quick enough. 2 Vindicators do go down basically for nothing. They might have gotten a bomb drop off, but not enough. And it looks like a good number of Shogun battleships here. They're potentially all under threat, and there's going to be the X key, but 2 of them will get caught regardless. Vindicators, no, it's going to be a hydrofoil moving in. Sea Wings? What is moving in to kill these guys? An assault destroyer? That's crazy. What do you want to use an assault destroyer for? Like one of the slowest units in the game to move in to try and kill off these Shogun battleships while they're frozen. Unfortunately, that is not working out super well. You got to hand it to PeaceBestow. He's playing this one out a 1v2v2 when he's got basically nothing. His Tengus are literally trapped by the Mediastorm Hive once again. Psionic Decimator only a minute and a half out from its activation, or potential activation. Tank Busters get the kill on the refinery, and Cryogeddon might finish off the other refinery. It might also get this Mecha Bay as well. We'll see if their Tank Busters are actually able to knock it down. Oh, never mind. Shogun battleships out on the water have the range to knock both of those things down. And just barely, the Mecha Bay survives the freeze, but it won't survive the shelling from the Shogun battleships. And it certainly has come down to KingKonG, Mystique versus chertilo and Bluestarlight. These guys both looking pretty powerful. The fact that chertilo and Bluestarlight got to take over the entire top left-hand corner of the map and even got to take these 2 refineries away from our orange-red team is certainly a big win for them. And they're truly the sleeper guys who it seems like are sort of making some kind of a comeback to try and take this game. Assault destroyers and aircraft carriers joining forces, but it's going to be up to this single Yurii mini-sub to stop what's coming. Mirage tanks, IFVs, and Javelin soldiers going to be busting open the front door. KingKonG and Mystique have better have a... No, never mind. That's their plan. That's an easy answer. Goodbye, entire allied army, as the Psionic Decimator decimates the entire army. Well, a couple of Athena Cannons do remain, but Athena Cannons without support are not a very good army. However, they do have the ability to definitely do some big damage, bring some big lasers from the sky, and burn up some big buildings. IFVs and Peacekeepers, I feel like there should actually be enough to fight this here. I'm not sure that he totally needs to run away here. He doesn't need to sacrifice Athena Cannons by going for the Crush, however. That's also not necessarily the best use of those units. And actually, this might be a bit of a double team. PeaceBestow looking for some revenge. He wants RevenantFire to not be rolling in his grave, but instead to be looking on with honor. And, well, the V4 is helping to push this army back. Might actually do a little bit of friendly fire there on accident. And it looks like it is going to be an all-out assault on the various places of KingKonG and Mystique's base. And that poor Wave Force artillery had no chance at all. Even the MCV getting targeted down by Vindicators, and Tengus going up against Tengus in the northern part of the map. But Shogun battleships have brought themselves to the top left-hand corner, and they are going to be bringing the pain as Mystique leaves the game, putting KingKonG on his own team against chertilo and Bluestarlight. Bringing out all of the stops, absolutely everything that he has, but the MCV will not survive. The balloon bombs coming down on top of that Athena Cannon, not quite enough to finish it off. At the same time, the Shogun battleships doing what damage they can in the north, but this army, it seems like, just will not be stopped. V4s, Athenas, Bullfrogs, and not much else, because everything else basically has died at this point as the Shogun battleships start spreading out and trying to turn this into a potential base trade. KingKonG may just not have enough buildings spread far enough out. This is certainly going to help. I think he's lost both of his MCVs, though, so it could be a situation of what you see is what you get. He's already used his super weapons, absorbing the shot from that Wave Force artillery. Nice use of that Aegis shield to save that Athena cannon, at least for now. And there goes the Wave Force. There goes the Tier 3 War Factory, as this entire Empire Allied Union base just gets absolutely demolished by chertilo and Bluestarlight. A rough start for them, but they have somehow found the free time, because they weren't attacked for most of this game, to come back and to mount a defense. The Apollos are just here to absorb damage, to block the shots coming in against these Bullfrogs, and these Sea Wings are actually going to be able to clean up almost every single Bullfrog. They get the last Bullfrog! Are you kidding me? Sea Wings coming in at the last second for KingKonG to break apart this incredibly high-tech but low health army. Even a Chopper VX getting in on the action, and the Sea Wings, with just superior numbers and not much else, have stopped the entire assault on KingKonG's base. It is turning into a 1v2, but KingKonG, honestly, I don't know how much infrastructure he even has left. He was looking fantastic a couple of minutes ago, but he has been beaten and bruised badly. Oh, he might be out of it in terms of production. He's got an airfield. He can go tier 2 on the airfield at least. If he needs cryocopters, that might actually be his best play. He's got nothing else. He can produce harvesters and stuff from the airfield, and he's going to let these Apollos die if he's not careful. This has actually turned out terribly for KingKonG. He is now going to have to fight out a 1v2 against players who have MCVs and production facilities and can actually do something in this game. Actually, they may not have MCVs, but they've at least got a Crusher Crane. Bluestarlight may have lost everything as well. Bluestarlight, does he have any actual production facilities? I'm not seeing an MCV. I'm not seeing a production facility that can build an MCV. chertilo getting bashed in the very beginning of this game. He has now got a War Factory, an MCV, a Crusher Crane, and he's getting back up to tier 3, which is more than I can say for basically everyone else in this game. And somehow KingKonG is in a situation where he has to fight this out almost entirely with the units he's already got out on the field. It is going to be Micro City for him to try and win this game. That Shogun Battleship needs to take like one more step forward. As you know, boats famous for stepping forward. They got their little feet. They just take a couple of steps. And this one Javelin soldier, well, he's going to get sliced and diced. He's going to get sliced and diced. There we go. Okay. For a second, I thought the Imperial Warrior was just going to run right past him. But at least there's some income, so he can build harvesters. He can send them out on the attack. He can build cryocopters. That's sort of his only real play. KingKonG is going to have to try and fight this one out from like the most awkward situation ever. He's going to be able to take down those super reactors, which might keep the production offline or at least slowed for chertilo. Bluestarlight, I think he's pretty much out of this one as well. It looks like he's going to maybe try and get some of his production facilities up to a higher tech, or maybe he's trying to expand out somewhere. I think he's just got the barracks. This is turning super weird. I mean, a barracks is a good production facility. It may be a better production facility than an airfield. We'll find out. All right, cryocopters are out on the field. There's going to be the command hub giving that tier 2 to the airfield, and mass cryocopter is powerful. So KingKonG has bought enough time to get out a couple of cryocopters, his Shogun Battleship, and his Tengus. I thought those were just Sea Wings flying around, but no, he's actually got a couple of Tengus as well. Javelin soldiers getting targeted down, and he's also going to be holding off these couple of random Javelin soldiers in the south, going for the attack against his main base. He's lost one expansion already. He doesn't need a ton of income. He really can't produce very much. He's only got one airfield worth of production, and I'm not actually sure how quickly cryocopters drain your income pool, but that's probably only like 2 harvesters worth of income, so he's probably fine with the refineries he already has. No barracks is tough. I mean, he can build command hubs, set them up, and then sell them off for a Peacekeeper. That would be one way to get some additional Peacekeepers, but that's not really a game-winning army as a couple of Peacekeepers. Fortunately, KingKonG does have a bunch of heroic units. So Bluestarlight has gone for a big infantry army in the south. It's APOC tanks, V4s, and a couple of sickles for chertilo. And honestly, chertilo going mass air in this situation may also be a really good plan, just purely for mobility's sake, if nothing else. It would allow him to shut down this Shogun battleship a little bit more easily. He really needs to deal with this Shogun battleship. I'm surprised he hasn't done anything about it. Peacekeeper is going to be moving forward. This is a potentially game-ending army because, well, KingKonG just doesn't have a whole lot left out on the field. Shogun battleship potentially coming back home. More toxins getting dropped, trying to toxify that Shogun battleship. Ooh, nice. The command hub does actually get established. I think chertilo could potentially build off of that. I don't actually remember the rules with expansions. Obviously, your allies' MCV, and I think their buildings all provide it. So I think expansions do as well. Flak Cannon going to get the kill on almost both of those Tengus. That would have been a sad day for those two heroic Tengus. They've survived so much, they've done so much in the war, and then they just die because of negligence. And the Tesla Coil will push away this Tengu. And it's going to be mass cryocopters. So many cryocopters. Might actually need to send a couple of those cryocopters elsewhere on the map, like maybe comboed with that Tengu, to start being able to clean up more targets. Cleaning up maybe some of this army if he can get both of the bullfrogs at the same time. Infantry aren't quite going to be able to break this. Mass Harvester is here for the defense. They've got their guns loaded. They are ready to go. And Harvesters do okay versus infantry. But it looks like Bluestarlight is going for the kill on the power plant, maybe the oil derrick as well. The base has mostly been cleared out. This Tengu is going to die if it doesn't. Okay, yeah, it does fly away, and the sell-off happens. So both things to preserve that Tengu. Oil derrick and power plant both going to be going down. And, well, that is, I think, the last oil derrick on the map to fall. Harvester's going for the defense. KingKonG does what he can. And when you can only build cryocopters and harvesters, the harvesters are actually a pretty good option. What an end game kind of force, cryocopters and harvesters. And I think he's got far too many Apollos and Vindicators still swinging around the map. I guess he could deliberately kill off a couple of Apollos to replace those with Vindicators, and that would give him a nice little mix. You know, you got up to four units that you can stick on that airfield. Shogun Battleship kind of slowly making his way down. It looks like this stuff might be out of range of the Shogun Battleship, which is a bit unfortunate for KingKonG. He's going to have to break this base at some point. Barracks is still here. Mass Peacekeeper, Mass Javelin Soldier. It doesn't always win games, but right now it is definitely sort of their best option. This refinery might end up being a game-winning placement just because it's out of the way, and no one might really be checking that area when they're clearing out the base. If this comes down to a base race, the spread of buildings is pretty much just as important as your units. Because if you've got a huge, great army, but not a great spread of buildings, then a player with a worse army might just be able to dive on them, suicide their units, and get the kill on your buildings without having to directly fight your army. KingKonG, he's got his two heroic Shogun battleships. That bonus range that they've got is going to be so instrumental in this attack. Airfield gets eliminated. Bullfrogs are here. V4's doing a bit of friendly fire. That hammer tank taking a bit of damage, and the cryocopter's not able to deal with the bullfrogs. It seems like they should actually be able to. This base doesn't totally matter, but shutting down that airfield is a big win for chertilo and Bluestarlight. Mass Harvester coming to fight, and it's going to be up against these shrunken down bullfrogs. They're overwhelming those sickles, and now it's going to be the mass freeze on this APOC tank, going for the bullfrogs one after another, and the bullfrogs are all gone. Where are the Apollos to kill off this twin blade? This one twin blade could stop the Harvester army from overwhelming this pitiful Soviet force. Satellites getting called down, and the Apollos are returning to base. Not that there is much of a base for them to return to. Harvesters get eliminated, but the refinery survives, so the Harvesters can be rebuilt. The APOC tank gets shut down. All right, Harvesters, do your work. That V4 rocket, where will it land? Right amongst the Harvesters, but it doesn't matter. They get the kill on the V4. Those Harvesters, two of them going heroic, a third going double vet at the same time. It was a distraction play. They can get both of these buildings if they really go for it. Well, maybe not anymore now that the cryocopters are here. We'll see what they're able to do. They do stop the Imperial Warrior. KingKonG needs to cycle his cryocopters to other targets if he wants to stop the killing of this power plant. Gets all of the Peacekeepers. Looks like he might have to deal with a couple more of them coming unfrozen as they do reload, trying desperately to kill off these last couple of power plants. And no, the power plants survive, the refinery survives, and KingKonG forces the retreat. These water expansions, so important. Need more Harvesters. Might as well sell off that Defender VX. That's not doing you any good. You've got one power plant. I'm not sure how many refineries one power plant can serve, but might actually be worth selling off one of these power plants or one of these refineries just to get your production back online. You definitely don't need the income from all of them when you're just building Harvesters. Wow, mass sell-off from chertilo, trying to get an airfield out, but it feels like it might be too little too late. Maybe he should have built it on the crusher crane, and then he could have crushed his MCVs for some additional cash. But at this point, the MCV is about to get frozen down, and it gets killed off. The airfield gets canceled, and KingKonG, with just random units from both Allies and Empire, is looking to save this game and to save his chances to win it. Bluestarlight has been defeated, and that is going to do it. chertilo has only a refinery and a super reactor left, and that is basically it. Goodbye, chertilo. KingKonG is going to take it. Some mistakes made for sure. I'm actually going to sell off the super reactor, so no big explosion. And that's the GG as chertilo takes the L, almost breaking KingKonG, but not quite able to do it. Not coming down to the super weapons. They really did not play a very consequential role in this game, which is, I kind of expected the super weapons to be a bigger part of it, but that will do it for this game. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Cyber signing out.